Welcome to this lecture on the principles of ecology. Today, we are going to explore two fundamental ways of looking at the natural world: Autecology and Synecology. Whether we are saving an endangered frog or understanding a vast forest, these two perspectives give us the tools we need. Let us dive in and see how they work. To begin our journey, let us imagine you are a detective assigned to follow just one specific person for an entire year. You do not care about the rest of the city, only this one individual. In ecology, this focused single-species detective work is called autecology. It is the most zoomed-in way we can look at how life interacts with its surroundings. Instead of looking at the whole forest, an autecologist studies how a single oak tree species absorbs nutrients, tolerates drought, and reproduces. By isolating a single species, scientists can deeply understand its unique biological limits. Now that we understand what autology is, we must ask why this single species focus matters so much. Understanding autology is absolutely critical for both wildlife conservation and agriculture. If a specific endangered bird species is dying out, we need to know its exact temperature limits and food requirements to save it. Similarly, farmers use autology to understand exactly how much water and sunlight a specific crop needs to maximize yield. Without this foundational knowledge, we would not know how to protect vulnerable animals or manage invasive threats. It gives us the precise instruction manual for a single type of living thing. This foundational understanding leads us to how autoecologists measure a species' success over time. To study a single species, we often measure how its population grows under ideal conditions with unlimited resources. Mathematics provides a perfect tool for this. The formula is dn over dt equals r times n. Let us break this down. N represents the total number of individuals currently in the population. The variable t represents time. So the fraction represents the rate at which the population size is changing. The symbol r is the intrinsic rate of increase, telling us how fast the species can reproduce. If r increases, the population explodes much faster. If n is very small, the overall growth rate will be slow, even if the species breeds quickly. Before we move on, let us see this formula in action with a concrete example. A conservationist is studying an endangered species of frogs. We're given that the current population is 50 frogs, and their intrinsic rate of increase is 0.2 frogs per year. We want to find the initial population growth rate. We choose our exponential growth equation because it perfectly models this internal dynamic. We substitute 0.2 for r and 50 for n. Multiplying these together gives us 10. This means the combined reproductive efforts will yield a net gain of 10 new individuals. The frog population is currently growing at a rate of 10 frogs per year, meaning we can expect roughly 60 frogs by next year. Now that we have seen a population grow, let us look at how autecology models a population in decline. We have a specific endangered plant species with a population of 200. Due to severe habitat loss, its intrinsic rate of increase is negative 0.05 per year. We use the exact same formula, but the negative sign is crucial because it indicates that deaths exceed births. We multiply negative 0.05 by 200, which gives us negative 10. This negative result mathematically confirms that the population is shrinking. The plant population is losing 10 individuals per year, warning the autecologist that the species is on a path to local extinction if the environment is not improved. Having calculated these population changes, let us visualize what an autoecologist is actually studying. In this diagram, you are looking at a single oak tree, representing our focus species. Notice how all the arrows point directly to or from this one tree. We see sunlight and rain coming from above, and soil nutrients being drawn up through the roots. There's also a thermometer representing the tree's specific temperature tolerance. This visualizes the core concept of autoecology. We are ignoring the rest of the forest to understand the unique traits, limits, and requirements of this one specific organism in isolation. While autecology gives us the magnifying glass, we must now zoom out to see the bigger picture. Imagine you stop following that single person and instead fly a drone high above the entire city to watch how everyone interacts. In ecology, this big picture view is called synecology. It is the study of the entire community of different species living together and interacting in the same shared space. While autecology looks at one oak tree, synecology looks at how the oak trees, the squirrels, the fungi, and the birds all interact. It examines complex phenomena like predator and prey dynamics, competition, and energy flow through food webs. This broad perspective naturally leads us to why synecology is so vital for understanding our planet. Synecology is vital because no species exists in a vacuum. Every living thing depends on or competes with other living things. We use synecology to understand how a forest recovers after a devastating wildfire, a process known as ecological succession. It is also used to measure the overall health of an ecosystem, such as a coral reef, by looking at the diversity of species present. If we only studied single species, we would completely miss the invisible web of life that keeps our planet's ecosystems stable and functioning. To measure this overall ecosystem health, synecologists need a way to quantify the chaos and variety found in nature. One of the most famous tools for this is the Shannon-Wiener index. The formula is H equals the negative sum from I equals 1 to S of P sub I times the natural log of P sub I. Let us define these terms. H represents the diversity index, telling us how diverse and balanced the community is. S is the total number of different species present. The variable P sub I represents the proportion of individuals belonging to a specific species. We multiply each proportion by its natural logarithm, and the summation symbol means we add this up for every species. A higher H value indicates a very healthy, complex ecosystem. Now that we have our diversity formula, let us apply it to a simple community. A synecologist is studying a garden with 80 daisies and 20 roses. We want to calculate the Shannon-Wiener diversity index. First, we find the total population, which is 100 plants. Next, we find the proportions. Daisies make up 80%, so their proportion is 0.8. Roses make up 20%, giving 0.2. We plug these into our formula, multiplying each proportion by its natural logarithm. The natural log of 0.8 is negative 0.178, and for 0.2, it is negative 0.322. Summing these and applying the negative sign from the outside gives us a final diversity score of 0.500. This relatively low score reflects a community dominated by just one species. To see why that previous score was low, let us compare it to a perfectly balanced community. We now have a different garden with 50 daisies and 50 roses. The total is still 100 plants, allowing a fair comparison. Because both species have 50 individuals, their proportions are exactly zero point 0.5 each. This perfect symmetry is the hallmark of an evenly distributed ecosystem. We plug these equal proportions into our formula. The natural logarithm of zero point 0.5 is negative 0.3465. We multiply and sum these internal values and apply the negative sign outside. The final answer is 0.693. Compared to the first garden, this higher number mathematically proves that a community with an even distribution of species is more diverse and resilient. Having mathematically proven the value of diversity, let us visualize what a synecologist actually studies in the field. In this diagram, we are no longer looking at just one tree. We see an entire community interacting. Notice the red arrows representing energy flow. Energy moves from the oak tree to the deer that eats its leaves, and then to the wolf that hunts the deer. Below them, brown arrows show decomposition, as nutrients from all these organisms eventually return to the soil through the mushrooms. This illustrates the core of synecology, treating the biological community as a single, massive, interconnected unit where every species plays a role. As we bring our exploration to a close, let us review the most important ideas we have covered. First, Autecology acts as our magnifying glass, allowing us to deeply understand the survival, growth, and limits of a single species in isolation. Second, Synecology serves as our wide-angle lens, revealing the beautiful, complex web of interactions between all the different species sharing a habitat. Finally, we saw how mathematics allows us to quantify these relationships, whether predicting a single frog population's growth or measuring the diversity of a garden. By mastering both perspectives, scientists can protect individual endangered animals while preserving the grand, interconnected ecosystems they call home. You now have a solid foundation in the principles of ecology.